That's it for the 6 o'clock edition of Channel 6 Action News. Thank you for having us in for news.
Yes, we'll see you again tonight at 11 o'clock. Diana Morgan joins us now with What's New at 6:30. Hello, Diana.
Thank you, John and Giselle. Are more Eastern layoffs in the future? Many in the know say it's just the cost of survival for that floundering airline and surviving the battle that may rage in the Gulf. Doctors say it is forcing those of us stateside to fight a psychological war within ourselves. And Channel 6 Action News anchor Barbara Sloan is home with her new bundle of joy. We'll have pictures, and it's all just seconds away.
Now, Barbara Sloan and Ken Matz, Channel 6 Action News.
Will there be massive layoffs at Eastern Airlines because of that carrier's ongoing financial difficulties? And what role should women play in the showdown in the Gulf? We'll have action team coverage on the deadline with war. Good evening, I'm John Hambrick. Ken Matz is in Washington. He will join us with a live report in a minute. Barbara Sloan is on maternity leave.
And I'm Diana Morgan. Iraq and the United States appear locked on a collision course tonight for war, with each side insisting the other must give in. Here is the very latest. President Bush called Iraq's apparent intention to ignore tomorrow night's deadline to pull out of Kuwait, quote, a tremendous mistake. Iraqi lawmakers today gave Saddam Hussein full authority over that crisis. Officials from Yemen are on their way to Baghdad to make one last-ditch effort for peace. And late word from U.S. military officials in Saudi Arabia is that there has been no indication of any pullout or any other significant movement by Iraqi forces in Kuwait.
Although women in the U.S. military are not allowed on the front lines in combat roles, they are making their voices heard about that in the nation's capital. We began our action team coverage with a look at some of their concerns. Channel 6 Action News anchor Ken Matz has been in Washington over the weekend. He joins us now via satellite with today's developments. Ken?
John, as Diana just said, there is just more continuing sad news for the wives and mothers of soldiers in the Persian Gulf. The countdown continues, and our lawmakers see things going only one direction.
With the apparent collapse of the last hopes of diplomacy, my sense is that war is immediately over the horizon, that we could and probably will be at war this time next week.
As Washington girds for war, these people march for peace. Among them, a large number of women with something to say about the approaching deadline.
It's the only way to stop it is stop it before it begins. We're concerned about all the innocent lives on both sides.
It's unnecessary. We can solve this conflict in human means of negotiation, really looking to satisfy the real basic needs of all people and not standing on false arguments.
And this woman says she's just returned from Baghdad last night. She'd been part of an international peace mission called the Gulf Peace Team. What about Iraqis? Did you see any Iraqis demonstrate?
Oh, no. There's no demonstration in Iraq. No, it's a whole different thing from what we can do here. But the thing is that I did speak to Iraqi people.
And how do they feel?
Sad.
Don't you think people getting killed the way they do in the city is enough?
The thing is, the arguments for peace here range from emotional and rational to just plain incredible.
I know we have to keep the Iranians from getting all these little countries around.
And this woman sent out press flyers talking about the Women's Fast for Peace beginning at noon today.
I will stop on Saturday. I have decided at this point to fast only 6 days.
The Women's Fast for Peace turned out to be a short, one-woman event. There was even a confrontation today that had all the look of being staged for the cameras.
The only freedom is within your heart.
You see that flag? And so, you see that flag? That's freedom right there.
So the protests have taken many different forms, and they've caught the eye of the camera and reporters, but it may be too late to really make a difference. John?
Thank you, Ken. Ken, we'll have another live satellite report from Washington tonight on Action News at 11 o'clock. Diana?
We continue our team coverage on that showdown in the Gulf with a look at how people are dealing with waiting for that deadline. Some talk to family and friends about their fears. Others seek out support groups like Operation Homefront. Channel 6 Action News reporter Ileana Varela now joins us live from Fort Lauderdale, where a special program is being held for families and friends of those overseas. Ileana, what's it all about?
Well, Diana, in just a few minutes, in a short while, we expect that members of Operation Homefront will begin arriving here at Fort Lauderdale Hospital looking for comfort and understanding. It'll be a small group here, probably no more than 10 family members, but it will be an emotionally charged group. Therapists here tell us that until now, a lot of those who have loved ones in the Gulf have been in a stage of denial, absolutely refusing to accept the possibility of war. But With this desert deadline quickly approaching, they have little choice but to face it, to accept it, and hopefully groups like the ones that will be meeting here tonight will help them cope. Now, if there's anyone at home who feels that they might benefit from a group therapy session like the one being held here tonight, you are most welcome, and you have time to come down here. In fact, you have just about a half hour. It starts at 7, goes through 9 o'clock. It's at Fort Lauderdale Hospital. Let me give you the address, 1601 East Las Olas. And again, they'd be more than happy to have you. There'll be other people in the same boat, so to speak, and they know what you're going through, and they're willing to help you. Back to you.
Thank you, Eliana. The Pentagon estimates there are about 425,000 American troops now taking part in Operation Desert Shield. John?
If you have somebody in the Gulf and you'd like to contact Operation Homefront, here are the numbers to call. In Dade, call 252-1215. That'll get you the folks at the Dade County branch of Operation Homefront. The support group also has 2 Broward numbers. They are 486-4485 and 486-8957. But if you're trying to get some military business taken care of, or if you'd like to help out by donating time, you should call the Veterans Center. You can reach them at 646-VETS or 523-7660. What kind of energy impact would a war have here in South Florida? Metro-Dade government is gearing up in case the impact translates into a greater demand for mass transit. And for the last several months, old Metro buses have been sold off, and 100 part-time drivers are trained and ready to step in. Metro Rail is also ready to increase its service if more commuters want to ride the rail.
So we are making all necessary efforts, I think, to be prepared, hopefully, for something that will not occur.
Dussault says the county is also prepared to adopt strict federal and state energy conservation programs if such moves become necessary.
And with the showdown now just 1.5 days away, the crisis is weighing heavily on the minds of many South Florida students. Some of them will be the next generation called to serve our country. And as Channel 6 Action News reporter Bud Fragg explains, many students say war is a necessary evil, but it's not going to be easy.
Would it be a mistake on the U.S. part to attack on the deadline?
The deadline. Romeo Randolph's advanced history class seems to understand how its passing could have potentially deadly consequences. But like most Americans, these students say if going to war is the only way to rid Kuwait of its Iraqi occupation, it's worth it.
Hit them hard, hit them fast, and try to get them out as quick as possible.
I don't want to go to war. I myself don't want to go to war. But I believe it's right. That's me being selfish, but everybody's selfish.
I think George Bush has created a big mistake because he didn't push the propaganda of the fact that Hussein is destroying Kuwait.
But all the reasons for war have not convinced Sharif, whose father is a Marine, now in Saudi Arabia.
I don't want the war. I really don't. I would love to see my father come home. I don't see the sense of fighting for oil at all. I think it's very childish, especially if you have some or you can find it from somewhere else.
A long war could put some of these young men and women in harm's way. No one knows that better than Mike. He just registered with the Selective Service.
If they call me up, I will be more than proud to go and fight for this country.
And how do these students see that fight ending up?
If the U.S. were to use its unlimited firepower, the war would last no more than 2 weeks. But if we go into a slow war using minimal power, it might be several years, like we get now.
It's a short war. We'll lose fewer people.
But for a lot of people, fewer casualties is hardly a comfort. Bud Fragg, Channel 6 Action News.
If the draft were going to be reinstated, it would take a while. First, the Pentagon would have to give the order. Then it would have to be approved by the White House before going to Congress. As the deadline fast approaches and all of the tension continues to mount, many of us back here at home are having a tough time coping with our fears about the prospect of war. And I'm not just talking about those who have loved ones in the Gulf. It's something that's affecting all of us. Along with many of our soldiers in the Gulf, many of us are also fighting a psychological fear of war, a fear of death, and a fear of terrorism.
We think about our young guys and young ladies that are there, and we're praying for them. We're all very, very afraid, even for us here.
The fear that somebody's going to come and drop bombs on us or something.
As the showdown in the Gulf escalates with the deadline approaching, Dr. Juan Hayata told me it is triggering many of our basic fears from childhood.
Essentially fear of body harm, of something happening to our physical self
Not all children will come right out and tell you they're frightened by the showdown, but many are.
Some of them will tell you right off the bat, I am very scared, I am afraid, and they will cry, and they will show you how afraid they are.
They could just come down and plant a bomb somewhere, you know, as a terrorist. That's pretty scary.
For some, the prospect of war and flying bullets is scary because we've been at peace for quite a while. And we like the way that makes us feel, safe with no threat of danger in the air.
I'm still afraid. I've never lived. I've never been an adult through a war, and I don't know how it'll affect me or my children, but I don't think it'll be good.
The fear of the unknown in the Gulf and the fear of not having any control. And Saddam Hussein plays a pretty large role in our fears. He's scary because just like the big bad wolf, we can never assume what he is going to do next.
For the very latest on the showdown in the Gulf, keep it right here on Channel 6 at 7 o'clock. Stay tuned for the CBS Evening News immediately following this newscast. Then at 7:30, Ken Matz and I will host a half-hour special, Showdown in the Gulf. We will examine the prospects for war and how developments in the Gulf will affect or might affect South Florida. That's tonight at 7:30 here on Channel 6.
And coming up next, could Florida's bumper orange crop mean trouble for the industry next year? And there are 2 new lucky millionaires in South Florida. Lotto gets the credit.
Also, are massive layoffs on the horizon for troubled Eastern Airlines? These stories and more still to come.
Call your travel agent or 1-800-JAMAICA.
At Republic Bank, we searched far and wide to bring one of the best groups of professionals together in investments, international banking, real estate, credit, corporate lending, and retail banking in virtually every area of banking and financial services. Now they're all here under the direction of President Oscar Bustillo. Whatever your banking needs, come see us at Republic Bank, and we'll make beautiful music together.
School kids all over South Florida are talking.
There's a new kid in class. Pass it on.
She's no ordinary student.
There's a new kid in class. Pass it on.
Her favorite subject is science.
Hey, there's a new kid in... Wow!
Weather science. She's Channel 6 weather forecaster Maria Gennaro with free classroom kits, including computer software, to teach South Florida school kids about the weather. Watch Channel 6 Action News for more details. Maria Gennaro's Weather School, only on Channel 6.
The Mideast crisis, of course, affects us all, from our jobs to our friends and neighbors in the armed forces. But for the ailing airline industry, it is feared that some carriers could be put out of business entirely. As Channel 6 Action News reporter Al Sunshine explains, Eastern's top management is in the midst of putting a new business plan together. He's standing by at Miami International Airport with a live report on that. Al?
John, Eastern's new business plan was expected out last week, but because of the Pan Am bankruptcy and the worsening crisis in the Persian Gulf, it's apparently taking a lot longer than expected. They're trying to figure out how to ensure the future of Eastern Airlines, but Eastern's top management, like everyone else across the country, doesn't know what's going to happen in the Mideast. Already, some airline passengers are cutting back air travel. Their fears? Possible terrorism.
I'm flying less anyway.
Why?
I'm afraid of terrorism.
Does concern you.
Absolutely.
Eastern's 1991 business plan is expected to be formally released within the next 2 weeks. There's already a lot of talk within the industry on what Eastern may have to do to survive. Some airline industry analysts believe that it's inevitable that Eastern is going to have to cut some of its labor costs by announcing some layoffs of employees. There's also speculation tonight that Eastern may have to further cut back some of its operations here in South Florida. The company's 4,000 flight attendants are now voting on a new contract. Eastern's management wants them to work an additional 3 to 4 days a month, but without any additional salary. That proposal is expected to pass, though it is getting some opposition.
Well, I'm not really too happy with them. I'm sure they have to make some concessions, but the ones that were outlined to us, I didn't like the look of them at all.
I think they'll vote for it, definitely. Nobody wants to strike again.
Eastern's bosses remain tight-lipped tonight. Some industry insiders say unless Eastern gets some new government contracts, it may face little chance for even short-term survival.
I still don't believe that they can survive beyond the first quarter unless there's some kind of a massive injection of government funds for flying military personnel by Eastern.
Now, Eastern Airlines already got one new government contract, so if domestic air travel starts slowing down, it looks as if Eastern may be looking for more business from Uncle Sam. John?
Al, thank you. Eastern planned to reopen its flight training center for new flight attendants, but because of concern over the economy, the plans were dropped. That training center remains closed.
And another area facing a grim forecast for the upcoming year is the U.S. auto industry. If 1990 was a grim year for car makers, then 1991 could be even worse. The Wall Street Journal says American automakers plan to build just 9% more cars in the first part of 1991 than they did for the same time last year. They blame the threat of war and recession worries for that grim projection. 2 Lucky Lotto winners have escaped to a life on Easy Street. Both new millionaires bought their winning tickets right here in Dade County. One in Homestead, the other in Miami. The duo will split a $27 million jackpot. But nearly 500 other people also got lucky. They matched 5 of the 6 winning numbers, and they will get almost $3,500 apiece. For the rest of us, there is always hope. Next week's prize is worth an estimated $7 million.
Paltry.
When will my number come up? That's what I want to know.
Well, Maria's number is, well, I won't say her number is up. She's standing back. No, I didn't mean it that way. That was a very, very poor segue. Anyway.
It sure was. Anyhow, we had cloudy and cold today. Will it be changing for tomorrow? I'll tell you that next.
The best hot dogs in the world have been served for 75 years in New York at a place called Coney Island. Piping hot and hearty, made with a special all-beef recipe. People still come from miles around to enjoy the robust taste of Nathan's famous Franks. Now Nathan's has come to Florida with the same great taste that made him famous 75 years ago. All you have to do is go to your supermarket. Nathan's famous Franks. There's still nothing like them. Look for Nathan's famous Franks at your favorite supermarket.
If your nights are getting later and later, chances are the sag of your mattress is getting deeper and deeper. You need a beauty rest. Its unique individually wrapped coils are pre-compressed to give you a comfortable mattress that stays forever firm. Sleep on a beauty rest, and here's something you haven't heard in years.
Good night, hon.
Beauty Rest by Simmons. Forever firm.
Now available at Levitt's.
I remember this old man on my paper route. He was a real grouch, Mr. Krischer. But then I found out his wife was sick and stuff, so I just started, being nice to him. I mean, that's all people want. They just want to be treated like they're important. One time, he even gave me a tip.
We try to make every customer feel like our most important customer. Glendale Federal Bank, the way a bank should work.
Good afternoon, Dad.
Keep your hands off the fender.
You know Chevron has a 93 octane gasoline?
Is that right?
Maybe I could go fill it up.
Just to the gas station.
For even better performance, there's 93 octane Chevron Supreme with Tekraline. Nothing's better at keeping valves clean.
3 hours.
Gee, Dad, you didn't want me to mix the old gas with the new gas, did you?
Chevron, we're with you all the way.
I tell you, it really felt like winter today. Chilly, chilly.
We're spoiled.
She thinks it does in the studio. It's
I
a little
know,
cool in
we're
here.
shivering.
Freezing.
I think it's comfortable. I like it.
It was a nice change of pace, I have to say that. I mean, you kind of get accustomed to the sunshine all the time, and so this was a nice change. But for those of us who do like the sun, it is returning tomorrow. And then, yeah, we have more rain on the way. Let's get outside behind the weather camera. And Ralph Madison was out at Tropical Park this evening where some folks were playing football. Currently 69 degrees in Miami. The beach is 72. Fort Lauderdale 72. And, yeah, temperatures are quite cool. Hey, you know, last night our low went down to 57. Yeah, we haven't been that low in a long time. Surf temperature 75. Winds out of the north pulling down that cold air. Pressure's holding steady. Let's start off taking a look at the state of Florida, put all our weather in motion, see what we have. We had a cold front which went by us down to the south, and now it's returning in the form of a warm front. That's what we have over us right now. A lot of cloud cover and a lot of rain associated with it. Let's go to radar and see exactly where all the rain is and bands of it right here. But the funny thing about this is it's moving so fast. It's moving up to the northeast at 40 miles an hour. So does that mean it'll be out of our way by tonight? No. We'll probably see a few showers throughout tonight and also tomorrow morning. But then later on, tomorrow afternoon, we will begin to clear. Taking an overall view of the U.S., not so much to report at all. Weather was basically calm. But watch this right here. This is a new system which is developing. Currently, it's a low-pressure system, and it's going to quickly move to the east. As a matter of fact, by tomorrow, it should be throughout Louisiana and Mississippi, bringing along with it quite a bit of rain. They have tornado watches in effect throughout the southeastern portion of Texas right now. All of that is due to this weather system, which will move into our area probably by Wednesday night into Thursday, bringing along with it more rain and then cooler temperatures on the way for Friday. Take a look at the Middle East. All eyes are over there right now. Here's Saudi Arabia basically clear. However, temperatures have been ranging in the low 50s for a low temperature and highs in the low to mid 70s. It looks as though it will be that way once again tomorrow. Here's my forecast for tonight. Mostly cloudy, 30% chance of a shower, 60 to 64. For tomorrow, we're looking for morning clouds, maybe some showers, clearing in the afternoon, 74 to 77. Heading out on the boat tomorrow, winds will be out of the southeast, 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet, and then increasing and then decreasing during the afternoon as we begin to clear. High tide 7:09. And sunrise, yeah, 7:09, exact same time. Next 5 days, looks as though most of Wednesday will be okay, but then by Wednesday afternoon, increasing clouds and showers remaining throughout all of Thursday. Cool temperatures again on Friday.
Keep those sweaters handy.
Yes, keep them.
Thanks, Maria.
He is known as one of the Dolphins' most outspoken players.
Who is he? Well, Steve Shapiro joins us now with a preview of what is coming up in sports. How about it, Steve?
From one guy with a big mouth to another guy.
Wait a minute.
One of the more vocal Dolphins wonders if his mouth has a place in Miami. And Gulfstream Park opened today with a record weekday crowd. All the sports is next.
He's here. Now you can go face to face with the greatest monster in movie history.
And through February 16th, Florida residents face him for just $21, $16 for kids.
King Kong lives at Universal Studios, Florida. And this time, he wins.
If you want to know the simplest way to save on groceries, just shop Winn-Dixie. They've got low prices nobody can beat. Nobody.
Take home fresh fryer drumsticks, only 57 cents a pound for 5 pounds or more. Wake up with Astor Super Blend coffee, just 88 cents. Limit 1, please. Have your groceries delivered right to your home by calling 1-800-284-SHOP. And be sure to pick up a Greatest card to let us know how we can serve you better. Winn-Dixie. Low prices nobody can beat. Nobody.
Chris Kelly knows a little beachfront hotel in Florida where the view is breathtaking, but the prices aren't. Now, where do you suppose she'd rent a car? Budget, where she can rent a car at over 125 convenient Florida locations at a very relaxing price.
Rent a Lincoln, a minivan or convertible for any 3 days with unlimited mileage for the smart rate of $99. Offer available at participating Florida locations only. The smart money is on budget.
Cookin' Good presents the ultimate in culinary convenience. Natural tenderloins of chicken breast, individually quick frozen, so the fresh taste is locked in. 1 piece at a time. Use only what you need, then reseal the rest. Experience the convenience. Experience the variety. Experience the great taste.
Cookin' Good's new tenderloins of chicken breast for convenience you can count on.
Time for Steve to talk.
Yeah.
Go to it.
The whole show is full of people with big mouths. Talkative defensive back Tim McKyer is not sure about his future with the Dolphins. He came to Miami by trade this year, brought a positive attitude, but some of his teammates think he runs his mouth too much. And opponents say the same thing, so McKyer tells us today he isn't sure how he fits in.
I feel pretty good about myself, but as far as my personality and my being accepted here by my teammates, you know, I have to discuss that with my attorney, and then we'll make a decision later.
You feel you're not accepted right now?
It's kind of hard to say. Like I said earlier, mixed feelings and mixed emotions around about a guy like me, but, you know, you don't want to act irrational.
A career is over for Chicago defensive end Dan Hampton, officially retired now after 11 years in the league. It ends with a loss yesterday to the Giants. On Hampton's last play, the Giants scored a touchdown.
You know, it's like a Walt Disney movie where the ending is a train wreck and everybody dies. It's not a lot of fun to think about the season ending like this.
Gulfstream Park begins its 40th season today. Nice crowd, too. They had over 20,000 in attendance. Free admission to the grandstand also, and everyone over 18 got a free $2 ticket to bet with. The first of 88 days in the meet. Today's feature race, the Hallandale Handicap. Here's the stretch. On the rail, we've got number 5, it's Stalker with Craig Perret up. Stalker wins by 1, a long shot, paid $26.80, and jockey Craig Perret won 4 races today.
Ah.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you later.
Well, you may have noticed that 2 members of the 6:30 team are missing tonight.
Yes, well, when we come back, we will show you how Barbara Sloan, one of the members, is keeping herself busy even so. We'll be right back.
Thank you for calling by owner. Are you buying or selling?
Yes, I'd like to sell my home.
Yes, I'm interested in buying a home.
BuyOwner's computer matching system connects sellers with buyers, and that's what BuyOwner is all about. You want to sell, and you want to buy, and no one has to pay a real estate commission.
Thanks, BuyOwner.
When you're buying or selling real estate, remember to call the one, the original, BuyOwner, where it's you that makes the difference. Call now.
Humiliation of a second-half quarterback.
That was a stellar performance.
Super Buckets.
Have some chicken. You look weak. Man, his arm is weak. It's called aging.
From Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Trivia, guys. Who has the record for most fumbles? You mean before today?
15 pieces of chicken or a supersized bucket of hot wings, just $9.99 each.
Wait till the second half.
All right, rally.
Anytime you're ready, gentlemen.
Super Buckets from KFC.
I'm afraid of this.
To get the real story about AvMed's Medicare plan, just ask our members.
I like AvMed because I get to go to the doctor that I want to without having a clinic-type atmosphere.
There is no paperwork with AvMed. They do it all for you.
AvMed paid the whole thing, over $22,000 that I know of. The bills kept coming and coming, and AvMed took care of everything.
To find out more, call this toll-free number.
Call today for a free list of participating doctors and hospitals in your area.
Every beer in the world tries to measure up to German beer. Every German beer tries to measure up to Beck's, the #1 imported German beer. #1, because when that great Beck's flavor is unlocked, no beer in the world quite measures up to it. The best of the best to you from Beck's, the #1 imported German beer.
As you would certainly expect, the Action News team is already working on our 11 o'clock newscast. We will have the very latest from around the world on the Gulf crisis, of course, and anything from the one man who apparently holds the fate of thousands in his hands. On the eve of the deadline, American-trained Kuwaiti soldiers shipped out from New Jersey today. Are they ready to take back their country? And the push for peace is on. We will take you to a march on the White House as well as a D.C. prayer vigil. It's all tonight on Action News at 11 o'clock.
And finally tonight, just before joining Dan Rather and the CBS Evening News, proof that with all the talk of war, life does go on. Here is some living proof. We thought you'd like to take a peek at Barbara Sloan's new baby, Zachary Cox. He was born last week. Barbara and Zachary are home now and doing just fine. And Zachary's big sister, Katie, is even helping out with her new baby brother. All of us here at Channel 6 Action News are glad that Zachary is now a part of our family, and we want to leave you tonight with the hope and prayer that as he grows up, the world will be a lot more peaceful.
Hear, hear. That's it for the early edition of Channel 6 Action News. We do thank you for having us in for news.
And stay tuned now for the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather, immediately followed by an Action News special, Showdown in the Gulf. We'll be back tonight at 11. Bye-bye.